Hey everybody, TC Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, and am I ever so excited that you've joined us tonight for our show. And do I ever have a show lined up for you? It is my honor and privilege to bring to you tonight Miss Tanya Morris, a powerful woman of God that God has given an assignment, a purpose to empower women leaders all over the nations. Especially you sitting at home and you've got a God-given dream that you want to get activated in your life. You're going to want to watch this show. So, without any further ado, somebody crack open the vault and let's start our show. Morris,
thank you.
An honor to have you on our show today.
Thank you so much.
Tanya, God is just doing so much. You know, it's interesting when you came on set. Literally, I felt like royalty had come on the set when you approached the set. God is just doing so much in your life. It's such an honor to have you here.
I thank you so much for allowing me. It's been a gift. It's an answered prayer.
What I appreciate about you is you're a woman of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just make decisions in business without praying about it. But take us into a little bit, let's talk a little bit about you for the people at home that are tuning in for the first time. Tanya Morris here as my guest. But take us in and give us a snapshot picture of who you are and what God has called you to do.
I'm an owner of Transition Enterprises, which is a consulting firm and a coaching firm. And I help organizations initially with the multi-generations in the workplace. But coming from HR, I realized that the dynamics of the workplace has changed so much. I've seen so many people disengaged, stressed out. And so when I transitioned out of the workplace, God dropped in my spirit. He said, I want you to help women transition to the gift that they have. And I'm like, God, how are you going to do that? So he said, remember what I've done for you, right? Remember, you were at the epitome of your career. You had success, but you were not happy. I was one of those who bought into this blueprint. You go to school
Right.
and get a good job and the picket fence and all of that. And I had some level of success, but inside I was dying. And I had the job where 9 weeks of vacation, had no reason to leave, but God. But God. And so when I did transition out, I didn't have anyone to help me transition out. I had to really just day by day and walk the steps that God gave me. And I see so many entrepreneurs say, I want out. And they turn it back around and come back in. So God gave me a gift. He said, you know what? I want you to teach them to transition out the right way. You got to have a transition plan.
Transition out from?
They're 95 to entrepreneurship. There's so many of us have done our time.
Right. Now, I'm loving this, Tanya, because you've actually published a book.
I did.
Tell the audience.
Before you say I do to entrepreneurship, what you need to do to leave your 9-to-5 job.
Right.
And I did that because we all have a different relationship with work.
Right.
The blueprint doesn't work for all of us. So I used a marriage analogy.
Right.
And my thought process was, in order to do this and stay out, you have to have a commitment. So what better way to demonstrate marriage or a relationship? Because really, entrepreneurship is a new relationship with work.
Right. Talk a little bit about commitment. I heard you say that word commitment, and it's part of that marriage analogy with your book. Tell me what your thinking was, when it comes to that word commitment. Because, people listening at home, commitment to me means something completely different than it does for somebody else. So,
well, when I looked at the title that God gave me,
right.
And I said, we got to have a different relationship with
Can I
entrepreneurship.
Stop you for a second?
Yes.
The title God gave you. When did God give you that title?
About 2 years ago.
Two years ago?
Oh yeah, 2 years ago. And I was like, God, what could this be? I got to help women transition out.
Right.
And he said, well, we're not committed. So I started thinking about it. And anytime you are in a different relationship, it start off with flirting. I kind of like it a little bit, and then you start getting serious about it. I like it a little bit, but I'm not committed to it.
Right.
Then you start dating it.
Right.
This idea about entrepreneurship, and then you get engaged to it. I take you through the strategies. So when you get married to it, now it's a
Right.
commitment. So when I talk about commitment, I'm talking about the ebb and flow. There's some good days and there's some different days, right? I
Right.
don't say bad days, some different days, right? In order to be able to really have a successful business and entrepreneurship, you really got to be committed to it.
Right. So God gave you that
Title.
2 years ago. When did you publish?
Just published December the 24th.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
I had to work on it.
Tanya, what do you think is happening in this new season? You've got your finger on the pulse of this. He's giving you a mandate here with women specifically transitioning out of the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you think God is doing here in this new season.
Well, we're in a new decade, right? It's our time. But I also think so many women don't know anything after work. There's life after 9 to 5. I'm not saying that 9 to 5 is different things, but there's life after. And I really want women to understand that God has given all of us a gift. He just needs you to stir him up.
Come on.
And he says your gift will make room for you.
Right.
And so that's what I want to impart in women. We all have a gift. Are you going to make room for it? And I just want to show women that you can have the life that you desire.
Well, you know, Tanya, I love that you've come on the show, first of all, but I love what God has given you, the assignment
Oh, yes.
that he's given you, and the fact that you're committed to that assignment, so much so that you've got an incredible conference coming up.
Oh, yes.
In March, do you not? Tell us a little bit about that.
That conference will be here in Atlanta, Georgia on March 21st, and it's called Transition Now, Women Owning Their Destiny Through Entrepreneurship. And that's going to be a powerful summit. And we're going to have real talk.
Right here in the ATL.
Right here in the ATL.
Fantastic. So it's going to be March the 21st. Now listen, Miss Tanya, you've been given a platform here. You've been given an assignment, I believe, from God. What I'd like you to be able to do is to speak your message to those ladies right now. Because here's what I know. God has anointed you with a word for somebody that's sitting at home. They thought they were just channel surfing.
Mm-hmm.
They came across royalty sitting here with Tanya Morris. Give them that message that God has given you to speak to them.
I want to say to you, if you are stuck, if you feel like it's too late, I encourage you. I encourage you to know that it's never too late. God is doing a new thing with women all across the world, all across the country. If you want out of the 9 to 5, I challenge you to come see me in Atlanta, Georgia, so you can really, truly transition to the life that you deserve. I believe that we all have gifts, and I encourage you to stir up your gifts so God can do a new work in you.
Tanya Morris, you are amazing, absolutely amazing. Can you come back and see me after you have this conference?
I can.
And maybe we'll have some highlights that we can display for the people listening at home.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tanya Morris.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
It is my honor and privilege to bring to you now Mr. Michael Puskis. Michael is a powerful man of God who God has given a mission to help educate people and inspire and mentor people to break the curse of poverty on their life. He's an author. He's an incredible, inspirational leader. You're going to want to listen to this interview. Let's go, without any further ado, into the studio now and hear from my good friend, Michael Puskis. Hey, Michael, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you here. You know, Michael, you have such an incredible story about your book that you've recently published. The backstory behind that is absolutely incredible. You mind sharing with our audience the story behind you publishing your latest book?
It started out, I conducted a church small group in my home, and I was asked by some brothers to do that, and I didn't know what to do it on. So I sat down and asked the Lord what to do, and within a very short period of time, I came up with a number of topics that I wanted to cover. Well, once I started that small group and people started coming into my home and listening to it, they loved it, and I was encouraged to write a book about it.
Right.
But like most people, about writing a book, I procrastinated and never wrote the book.
Right.
Until some other things happened, and here I am.
So what was the prompt to lead you to write the book? Because I know the story,
Yeah,
Michael.
yeah. By the time it was said and done, I didn't like it. So I just sort of threw the whole thing on the back burner. And then I got a hold of your first book you wrote, Supernatural Success.
Right.
I thought that was so awesome because that was along the lines that I am very passionate about. But your God Made Millionaire, you wrote something in there about writing a book and getting off your can basically and getting it done. And that really prompted me. You said, you know what, I'm going to get this done. So literally, after I read your book, I went out in my back patio and started typing. And probably within a week, I had the book written and ready to roll. So a lot of it came from your prompting.
Right. So just to fill in the audience at home, you read God Made Millionaire, my last book,
Yeah.
and that motivated you and
Yep.
inspired you to write a book, and then you published the book. Now, here's my question. After publishing the book, how many days was it before I booked you to come on this show?
It was like 2 days.
Right.
And here I am.
Right. Isn't that incredible when God has called you to do something? How many times when God has called us to do something do we talk ourselves out of doing
Absolutely.
what we're called to do? Now, in your particular case, you're telling me after 2 days of following what God has told you to do years ago, you finally were obedient, got it done, and now here you are sitting on my set.
Yeah, and I can testify that God is merciful. So even
Yeah.
even he let me well, he didn't let me, but even in my procrastination, he caused it to work
Right.
together
So
for
tell
our
us the
good.
title to the book.
It's Success. It's your choice.
Success, it's your choice.
That's right.
You know, Michael, you are a passionate man.
Yes.
You are incredibly passionate. What was your motivation and your passion in writing that book?
My history goes back to 1973. I got saved, and it was a dramatic salvation. I was 17 years old, and my first thing I wanted to do was serve the Lord. So I just got busy serving the Lord, but at the same time, I got caught up in traditional denominational religion,
Right.
where healing and success and prosperity are not mentioned.
Right.
You just serve God in a biblical way. Eventually, it wasn't until I was in my early 50s that I looked at my life, and a lot of Christians are probably right there right now. You look at your life and you say, my life does not match what the Bible says.
Right.
And that made me mad.
Right.
And so I just began to search, and as I discovered things, my eyes were open, and I just felt like the reason I wrote the book is because the path I went through, I would like to cut that way down for somebody else, because the things I wrote in this book, if people would just do even a few of them, their lives would change dramatically. Because here's the thing, the reason why I call it success, it's your choice, because it is.
Right.
God, I'm telling you right now, TC, you know this.
Come on with it,
God,
Michael.
God made us, we got DNA. Every person on this earth has got the DNA to succeed
Tell it to
because
those
God
people.
did not make junk. He did not make you a mistake. He was intentional in making you, so he made you with the ability and the power to succeed.
Who is the ideal person that should read your book?
Every soul on this planet,
I
to
love
be
it.
honest with you, because
I love it.
there's some key principles in there. If people would just follow them, they could unlock the success gene in them to
Right.
get them to do the things that only they are uniquely designed to do, so that they can be the success that God designed them to be.
What has God called you to do in this hour, in this season, Michael?
I really believe that my calling is really toward Christians to understand, number one, who they truly are in Christ. And I want people, the Christians particularly, to know that they can be successful beyond their own needs.
All right, Michael, you've got me all fired up.
I'm fired up.
Yeah, you got me fired up, ready to roll. What I want you to do is look in that camera, and I want you to deliver that message that God has laid on your heart. Your word is a timely word. We all need a word, but we need a timely word. So I want to give you the opportunity to share that word that's burning
Yes.
within you.
Yes.
Share it with the viewing audience.
Well, I would say this, that you have a choice. And your destiny Your success, your future is your choice. And so what I would say is that you need to look deep inside yourself and take the time to be with the Lord and discover who you really are in Christ. And you need to make a decision that I'm going to do whatever it takes to honor God with what he put within me.
Yes.
Because the fact is, God put something within you. And the biggest and greatest honor that you could show him is to do what he put you here to do, and to do it with enthusiasm and do it with power, because you have that power to do that very thing. And it's unique to you. There's no one like you. That makes you invaluable. Do you know that a one of a kind is the most valuable thing on the planet? Well, that is you. So make a decision and get my book. It'll really help you to know what to do and when to do it. And God bless you.
Right. Well, we're going to put the information on how to get a hold of your book, which I highly endorse. Now, do you have another book in you?
I do. Actually, it's in the process.
All right. So when you get this published, maybe we'll see you back on set. I'd love to have you back.
I'd love to. I'd love to be back.
Michael, nice to have you.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming. It is my honor and privilege to bring to you now Mr. Kevin and Ramona Kellogg. This is a power couple in Southwest Florida. Their property management company is award-winning. God is blessing their business. They give God the honor in their business. You need to hear from this power couple. So without any further ado, let's go into the studio and hear from Kevin and Ramona Kellogg. Kevin and Ramona Kellogg, thank you for coming to the show today.
Thank you for having us.
You know, I'm amazed at what God is doing in both of your lives. You guys own and operate a very successful property management company in Southwest Florida, award-winning agency. But here's the thing. What struck me about your success in this market is you like to do Facebook Live videos.
We do.
Right? And you're always giving God the honor in your videos, and you're fearless about doing it. And what's interesting to me is I don't think it's by accident that within a 3-year stretch of time, the level of your success that you've been able to achieve has been just incredible. So congratulations on your success. But why don't we start out with telling us a little bit about your background, and we'll go from there.
Background, we spent 27 years with Publix. You know, you start there in high school as a part-timer, you work your way all the way up to a store manager.
27 years is a long time.
It is.
Right, to be with a corporation. What was your core lessons that you learned from your career at Publix?
They're always encouraged, customer's always right. You take care of your customer. You know, even when they're wrong, you got to take care of your customer. And we've rolled so much of that into Logical Choice Realty Group, our real estate agency. And
so you've rolled in those lessons you've learned at Publix into that. So Ramona, you are a key part of the success of Logical Choice Realty Group. What is your role in this happening, besides the fact that you guys are two lovebirds? I mean, it's amazing to watch your love story that you guys have created for each other. But Ramona, tell me how you tell me what you do, with the company.
Well, my background, I'm a corporate girl. I've
Right.
always worked corporate America, and corporate America decided my fate otherwise with the layoffs. And when I met Kevin, we shared our dream, we shared our desires, we shared our strengths, we shared our weaknesses, and he shared his desire to build or create Logical Choice Realty Group.
Right.
And I told him, and of course, he's not a paperwork guy. That's me. And I said, okay, you go out and work the deals, and I'll do your paperwork. We got together, it came to fruition, and here we are. It's a success for us. It works. It's teamwork.
Right.
And that's my role in it, is the back end.
Right. Kevin, let me ask you this. There's so many people listening at home that are thinking about doing real estate as a career. They're thinking about entering that pathway. First of all, in the 3 years that you've created your agency, what type of success have you seen?
our growth has been unreal. I mean, we've averaged about 50 new properties a year. And the way we created Logical Choice Realty Group was with a platform of property management to ensure that you would have that monthly income. You don't know when your next deal is coming. You don't know when that next door is going to open for a buy or a sell. And with the management, we've been able to work with over 60 investors, and they're buying, selling, and swapping out their portfolio properties regularly, which has created our sales. The property management side has created our monthly income.
Right. People that are listening at home and they're thinking about this as a career pathway, what would be that recommendation? Would it be to go for building a consistent revenue stream with property management, or would it be a different pathway? What would you recommend to them?
Well, you're going to have to sit down and talk with your broker, because some agencies, they do offer property management and they have a complete division that takes care of that. Other agencies are just simply all sales, buying and selling, and there's no property management involved. And they will give you leads to work with and everything. But the biggest thing that we found is working with property management is that it gives you that consistency. I mean, you can pretty well count every month what you're going to make.
Right.
And that makes a difference.
If you can get consistent revenue every month, then it frees you up to do the other aspect of the real estate,
Right.
which is the sales side
The
of the
sales
business,
side.
right? So what would you say is the biggest challenge for somebody that wants to get involved as a real estate agent or as a property manager?
It's going to be able to find people that needs the property management, or you need to find that person that's going to buy or sell a property. And so much you can't always rely on your sphere of influence, because they're not always buying or selling, and they may not be in a position to invest. So that's where you're doing your advertising through ads, mailings, you're reaching out in the community, live Facebook, when you're talking about property management.
Right.
And you're talking about services that you provide.
Right. Well, you know what's also motivating and inspiring to me, guys, is the fact that you guys are so active in the community. I mean, you really are. Ramona, talk a little bit about that aspect of the business, because I know it fires you up.
It does. It does. Every portion of our sales, our real estate sales, we give back to our community. We support the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Suncoast. We're from Southwest Florida. We also support the Gulf Coast Humane Society. We were also blessed and fortunate to be able to take part in bringing a gentleman over from Bolivia to our country, where he could learn some skill trades here to take back to his country, to be able to help those back there to earn an income. So we are very fortunate and blessed that we were able to take part in that as well. So every portion of our sales, we give back to the community in some shape or form.
Well, that's phenomenal. That is fantastic. You know what I'm excited about? You and I were talking before the show. You're in the process of putting together a blueprint for people that are either in real estate or going to get involved in real estate. Your property management blueprint, where
Right.
you've got your systems in place where you're going to be able to teach people how to replicate the incredible success you've had.
Right.
Is that true?
That is right. You see, it's something we've been working on and been toying with for a while, as creating a modules that talk about the steps and the processes. Once you make a decision, this is what you're going to do, the things that you need to go along the way to get you to the point that we're at now.
So this blueprint program you're putting together is not out now. So relax
Not there
at
yet.
home. Not out yet.
Coming
But when
soon.
it comes out, you'll come back and you share it with the audience.
We will come back and share.
Kevin and Ramona, any last words to the people sitting at home right now? Maybe they're sitting on the fence post in reference to getting involved in the industry, or maybe one of these investors in those 200 nations. What would you say to them as we wrap up?
Thinking about buying and selling, investing, you need to reach out to us. We're well known, we're award winning, and we're honest. We build this off of this relationship about trust, video, picture, and communication. And that's the only way to do it anymore.
Fantastic. Kevin and Ramona, I am so happy that you guys came to the show today. And when you get this blueprint program put together, I want you to promise me you'll come back and we can share it with the nations. How's that sound?
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, TC.
Thank you. Everybody, thank you so much for watching the show today. And do I ever have a word burning within me for somebody watching the show right now as we close our show? You know, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest obstacles to you walking in your God-given purpose and walking in your destiny will be unforgiveness. unforgiveness. I recognize there are people watching at home right now, and you've had somebody that has taken advantage of you. You've had a business partner that wasn't ethical or integritous. You've had a situation where it wasn't fair, and a situation where you weren't treated right. Ladies and gentlemen, back when I first moved to Florida, I started a business with a partner that I trusted like a father figure. 6 months into that business, I got a call from my ex-partner informing me that he was going to terminate our partnership and keep the company. And I will tell you the defining moment in my life, the reason that I'm not on some bar stool this afternoon throwing back whiskey sours in the bar, talking about that skunk business partner that took me for a multi-million-dollar company. The reason that I'm sitting here before you on this show today is that I had to forgive. He had my company. I would not allow him to have my future. Now, I don't know who I'm speaking to right now, but you've been taken advantage of. You've had maybe $1 million company taken from you. But I'm telling you right now, you've got to get rid of that unforgiveness. You've got to forgive. He had my company. He wouldn't have my future. I was determined that he wouldn't have my future. Within 2 years' time, he bankrupted that company. Within 2 years' time, I started the website that launched me on a global basis, the one that we generated over $1 million online. God is able to take what you think is the most devastating moment in your life and turn it into success. But he can't do it if you don't forgive that person that has done you wrong. All right, everybody, I'm getting heated up. I've got to go put my head in the pool, or I got to go tackle something. I am so jacked up right now. I can't wait till next week. But right now, it's time to do your prosperity dance. Somebody hit my music. Let me get my shades. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, God Made Millionaire is not just a financial show. God Made Millionaire is going to be the launching pad for dreams, specifically God-given dreams. God has given me this platform, not just for me, but for you, to give you a platform where you can come and share with the nations, over 200 nations, 93 million homes, that dream that God has given you. You're going to be able to share it to the nations on the God Made Millionaire TV show, Sunday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Word Network.